So the UK's Prime Minister Keir Starmer gives some declarations about a two-tier policing, and he is adamant that there's no such thing as two-tier policing in the UK. And let's watch the clip so you can see what is the difference between the body language when he talks about answers the question itself and he keeps talking. You're gonna notice that he's a bit stiff at the start of the answer and then he begins to speak normally. Here we go.
What do you say to these accusations about two-tier policing?
There's no two-tier policing. There is policing without fear or favour, exactly as it should be, exactly what I would expect and require. So that is a non-issue. The focus here is not on the apparent motivation of anybody involved in this. This is not protest. This is violence. It's violence on our streets being inflicted and targeted on communities, and we're not going to tolerate that in this country.
Well, among other things, I'm suspicious of words like apparent motivation. But one thing that I must mention is that YouTube, my main channel of communication, is, well, not that keen on this topic of politics. So make sure to like, subscribe, and follow me on my other platforms. You will find on the link in the description, because you know that these topics are not the cup of tea of in YouTube, but as long as I talk in certain terms, there will be no problem. Also, we have this standing army of police on alert to tackle UK riots. This is important. It's going to be important in a minute. As Starmer orders arrest of online criminals. I really wanted to visit the UK soon, but I'm fearing that they say this kind of thing. So if you're inciting violence, we are going to go back to the clip in a second, but I want to be clear about this, what I'm getting into. So if you're an inciting violence, it doesn't matter whether it's online or offline, and therefore I expect, just as in relation to those that are directly participating on the streets, for there to be arrests and charging and prosecution. This has me having flashbacks of Venezuela 2012, because this is the exact same way I almost ended up in a basement jail forever. You would not have seen me again, or you have never seen, because, well, I would have never gotten out of that jail. That happened in Venezuela back then, and I'm afraid of this, and especially because he also announced that he promises to send fewer people to prison, and in fact he prepares to release offenders early. I have no confirmation of this, but it's obvious that if that non-existent two-tier police is already sending people to jail, and we know that the jails in the UK are at capacity currently, well, you need to send people home early, and not precisely the ones who are on the street right now. No, the ones who are in jail right now. So how does that work? I don't know. That's why I am afraid of things like this. This is, well, this was in Belfast, in fact, but this is something that I wanted to show you, which is an Arab restaurant burning. This is the kind of things that I don't like. I don't want this kind of things happening. Why? Because this is senseless violence, because you're attacking people, businesses. You're attacking businesses that have actual stake in the community, because people that have built a commerce, a restaurant. It is something that they want to give something to the community, so attacking that is wrong. That is just plain wrong. I want to remind you that the one who made this duality between Muslims and far-right was Keir Starmer, and this has to be between law-abiding citizens and criminals, regardless of race and religion and everything. This is law-abiding citizens versus criminals. This is what we should be talking about. And since he says that he's going to deploy those special riot staff and riot police why do we see scenes like this in Birmingham, in which I don't see a single cop, not a single, no one, and no police officers, no riot gear, nothing special, nothing. So I see people telling me, I have people in my replies on X saying, "Oh no, this is you are reading too much into this. This does not exist. The two-tier policing." But I have to tell you that the footage, all the footage that you're finding out on X, is like when you see all the police, when you see like this picture, the police on a frame, yeah, you can easily see one man which really doesn't look like an Abroidian. I don't know if you watch one of my previous videos about how governments use illegal immigration to control you. We're talking about Abroidians, and this guy doesn't look like one of them. So going back to Starmer's clip, when I see this, I see a couple of
What do
things.
you
Let
say
me
to
just pause here and mute so I can show you the first part. I see that he's rather tense. He is, well, the situation is tense. That's something that I can comprehend. But when he is asked, what do you say to these accusations about two-tier policing, and his reaction, you're going to see that his body language, now muted, only looking at his body language, is quite stiff. There's no two-tier policing, and his body is mostly stiff. Notice that the second part of the answer, he finally relaxes. Look at this. And he answers, and he is quite stiff. There's no policing without fear or favor, exactly as it should be. And then he relaxes. And then he begins to move a bit. He claims that that is a non-issue, but we know that it is not. But this is too much footage out there. And again, I don't condone any kind of looting or arson or attacking people by race or religion. I think law should be upheld regardless of who you are. That is the way to go. And now his body language, after he says that is a non-issue, and he begins to relax and begins more. The focus here is not on the apparent motivation of anybody involved of this. We are not focused on the motivation. Okay, we don't care what motivates people. This is important, because he's trying to say that we don't care why are you protesting this way or why are you acting this way. He claims to say it, but we know how so many people is just fed up of not being or being ignored in terms of protection. And again, I am not naming any race or religion. I say law-abiding citizens of the United Kingdom at large. They are worried that they are not being protected, and we have this chaos, and we know what this chaos is bringing, that they are going to control social media, that they are going to have this Face ID everywhere, that they're going to bring, the actual draconian laws, and that's why this is by design. I'm going to show you the last part. This is not protest. This is violence. This violence in our streets targeted on communities. This is something that is really critical to understand, and I explained that on a long live of 1 hour. I'm going to review it right now. When we talk about protests, one thing, everyone in every country has the right to protest. In most countries, you have the right to protest peacefully, but sadly, sometimes you are protesting, and inside your protest, your peaceful protest, there are sociopaths who want to watch the world burn, sociopaths who want to go full arson and looting and rioting and all that, and do the wrong stuff, the bad stuff, as we saw the Arab restaurant burning. That is not the way. That should not be the answer. It is sad when society ends up exploding like that, because it is not an isolated incident that triggered this, something that has been happening for years, and this must have been prevented. But as of now, if you come and you say that this is, quote unquote, in Keir Starmer's words, he said this: Muslims versus far right, this is to cause division. You cause division, people is in general upset. You have all the proof out there that the police is not doing their job in a balanced and egalitarian way, and that only will give them the right to control faster the population with more draconian laws. But I would like to know what do you think about this in the comments. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the Body Language Guy. Remember to subscribe to my email list in case we have to communicate through another channel, and also my locals account in the description of this video. Much love and bless.